Responsive web design is an elegant solution to modern web devices that can't display a web page the way we'd like it to look. Websites usually have some form of navigation, so how can we address the navigation when the screen size shrinks? In this video, I'll provide an overview of navigation options and how they relate to responsive web design. There are a number of different ways to deal with navigation in responsive design. Now, in this example, we have a standard drop-down menu navigation at the top. And this is great when you've got larger screens, but if you're dealing with a smaller viewport, go ahead and shrink this. And at some point, there we go. Okay. So now what's happened here is that we've set up responsive design to ensure that when we get a smaller screen, that navigation disappears, and then we have our friendly little navigation button here that, when clicked, will drop down our navigation. You can see there it is, right there. So that's one way of doing it. I'll go ahead and resize that back, and you see that it snaps back to the original design. In this example, this is one that's actually quite popular now, and it's a really slick way of doing it. What we've got here is a navigation that's at the bottom of the screen. Now, the bottom of the screen is really useful because in a device, if you're scrolling down, a small device like a smartphone, you're scrolling down, you'll have that navigation always at the bottom. And if you don't, I'll go ahead and shrink this. What happens here is the navigation is down here. Now, it's dropped off the bottom of the screen. But always at the top of the screen is going to be this navigation button, and it's simply an anchor link. I'll go ahead and click that, and it'll take me down to our navigation, which you can see now is stacked on top of each other. So that's another way of doing it. Really useful method for small devices like smartphones and even tablets. And then finally, we have this method. Now, again, we have a bottom navigation, but I'll go ahead and shrink it down. And when I do, what happens here is we've got our navigation button here, but you can see everything is fitting in the viewport. We don't have that navigation dropping off the bottom of the screen. And here, if I click, it actually brings out hidden content. So we've set up a div container that has our links here, and we can set up our entire sort of navigation settings and whatnot inside this div container. And this button acts as a toggle, so every time I click it, it'll turn it on and then turn it off. So those are three basic ways of doing it in responsive design. There are certainly unlimited ways to do it, but these are three sort of standard and common and useful ways of designing your navigation using responsive design.